The Bite Me podcast is coming right up, and it is brought to you every week right here on YouTube by Freedom Boats. It is the best shallow running boat on the water, and there is a model perfect for you. The Chiquita 14, the Eagle 16, the Patriot 18, the Commander 21, the beautiful Warrior like I have 23, or the big boy that runs so shallow, the General 26. Chet Moore and Pooty can customize it however you'd like, and there's a dealer near you, whether it's the Boatyard in Kemah or dealerships in San Antonio, Beaumont, Corpus Christi, Port O'Connor, Houston, and Aransas Pass. Freedom Boats or freedomboatsusa.com.
Do you think I can still be a respected fisherman if I use that like gray away stuff in my beard? Because you can't even tell I have one no more.
Yeah, that was Caleb McCumber talking about the gray in his beard. And respected fishermen embrace the gray, like myself and Captain Dean Thomas. And the mother of all graybeards, the father of all graybeards, Captain Scott Null. So there's your answer.
Starting to look like Scott's son.
If your mama got a gray beard, you got trouble.
That's right. See, Caleb, we got your answer right there. That was not scheduled to be on the podcast, but it will be because that's what we do. We have good conversations. We got one for you today for sure. For the next hour or so, I'm John Lopez, Captain Dean Thomas, fresh off the ranch, Captain Scott Null, fresh off the ranch, Captain Caleb McCumber, fresh off Lord knows what. We got ranchers, man. They're not just fishermen. We got ranchers here. Got a good show for you today. We're back in the groove. We're a couple of weeks past the feeding frenzy. We got some great questions that I've been meaning to get to, including one that's going to be a little lively, I think, based on the pre-show discussion that we had. Of course, the number one thing for you guys is sit back and enjoy. And if you happen to get the time, just click on that subscribe button wherever you get your podcast. If you like it, you will. If you like it, you can subscribe iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. I haven't mentioned that in a while. Podbean, highly recommend that you subscribe there, although you can, as I mentioned, subscribe anywhere you get your podcast, because Podbean, you can get every single episode we've ever done in its entirety. And of course, YouTube, we're live on YouTube every Tuesday, as we have a bunch of folks already coming in for today's show. You can comment, we can interact with you, but of course, a lot of people don't have the time to do that during the middle of the day on a Tuesday. So this podcast will be posted about 6 p.m. tonight on Tuesday. And last thing, Facebook group page. Good conversation, good place to get these questions answered and ask us the questions. But let's get into it, man. Like I said, I got a full docket here. I asked you guys if you had anything you wanted to add to the rundown, but we were full anyway. I just wanted to see what you guys were doing, and now we know. So let's start where the captains were, how they did, what they noticed. Always a good way to get into the show, especially when tomorrow, Captain Scott. Tomorrow's October 1st. So where you been? What you seen? What do you know?
Well, I tried to go catch some tarpon this week, and found a bunch on one day. I don't even remember what day it was over the weekend. Found a whole bunch of them. They were just real skittish. They didn't want to play, and had them in front of the boat 2 or 3 times. Just couldn't get a lure in front of them. And so the next day, decided to slide back out there. New group, new guys, and the weatherman was not right.
Oh, it was. What day was that?
That was Sunday. Yeah, the weatherman said less than 10 all day, 1.2, 1.3 foot seas, blah, 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 all that stuff. And I rounded the little jetties, headed out, and it was a northeast wind, and it was blowing 20. And it was victory at sea as you came around and off the little jetties. I mean, it was right straight into them and just beating the hell out of us. So we made the jetties and then slipped around the end of the jetties, got behind there, and there wasn't any tarpon up anywhere where we could get to them in that close range. Where I'd been finding them was 25, 30 miles down the beach. And I asked the guys, I said, we can fish this. And I got fish down there. Going down there won't be a problem.
Yeah.
Coming back ain't going to be a lot of fun. So we went on down to the pass and then messed around down by the pass a little bit and then turned around and started coming back, and we were getting beat all to pieces, man.
I think you sent that exact text to me.
Yeah, it was rough. And I mean, my boat's pretty big, and I was taking them over the bow coming back. And yeah, it was pretty sporty out there.
Yeah. Dean, you learned anything this week,
We were
man?
supposed to go again the next
Oh.
day, and they said, yeah, we might want to rebook for tomorrow.
And it was probably calm. I don't remember what Monday was
No,
like.
it was the same.
Yeah. What are we learning? What can we share, Dean, with the class here, man?
Man, I've learned that I'm not as young as I used to be, and I don't rebound as well from an ass whipping as well as I used to. But no, deer season's coming up, so been down south at the ranch, cleaning up from a long summer of neglected feeders and flat tires and all that stuff. But fishing before I left, I mean, I did fish, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last week. It's been decent. I mean, and I'm back to fishing tomorrow. I got several days booked up. The mornings and the evenings have been very pleasant. I mean, the temperature, it's not so exciting that, you think fall is exactly here, but
it is October tomorrow.
I mean, I'm excited to get out there tomorrow and see where the mullet and what the bait fish and what those things are starting to do.
Yeah. Caleb, I don't know what you have to offer there, but I did want to ask you about something you mentioned in our text group about the triple tail record. I don't want to gloss by that because it was a wild story. It was a kind of cool story in a sense because you lay it out because you know the particulars here.
Well, DJ posted up a triple tail last week that got a lot of attention because it was a new state record. I think it was 35 pounds and some change. But as he was going through the process, he realized that he had overlooked that he had needed to buy a new license on September 1st. He said he had went late that night, laying in bed like we always do, and the very reason that Dangler U has a PayPal function. We was laying in bed as he always does, and he fills out all the stuff, and well, they want a credit card. Well, my credit card's in the other room. I'm laying here in bed. I'm not going to get up. I'll do it tomorrow. And in his mind, he had finished the process. So as he was going through it, he realized he hadn't, and so he essentially notified the game wardens. Everybody said, "Hey, look, I screwed up." So I guess the record won't stand there. I thought it was really awesome that he had fished a tournament earlier this month, and it's a cumulative tournament where there's a series. And he called that guy and he said, "Hey, even though we didn't place, take our weights off the board for the year end stuff because we weren't abiding by the standards." Now, that being said, I bet 50% of fishermen do the same thing. They think about it over the course of they've been fishing a day or two, or maybe that day. I bought a heck of a lot of fishing licenses as I'm driving to the boat ramp in Louisiana because I missed that date. But the integrity that DJ showed and hey, this is what happened to everybody. I texted DJ. I said, "Man, that's the timing sucks. If he had caught that fish next month or 3 weeks ago, it'd have been a non-issue, right? It was just timing for that time of year."
So why is it not a state record?
I guess
you gotta have a license.
I guess it wasn't caught legally.
Yeah,
but it was still caught.
I mean, I'm kind of with you there. You can do an asterisk. You can do that 61 asterisk.
Yeah.
I told DJ last night, I said, what you did is effectively become the Bud Rolling. So every time somebody brings up the record triple tail now, everybody's going to know that story. I can't tell you the record redfish right now off the top of my head, but I can tell you that Bud Rollins was arguably bigger than Jim Wallace's, and we all believe him, but he didn't prove it. And there's a big story around it and everything. And I think that DJ probably put his name in the books a little more solidly than he would have in the first place.
Go ahead, Scott.
Apparently, it's on the application for the record that everything has to be done legally. So that's where tripped him up.
And he posted the application, and it was very. I mean, and the comments, by and large, were very positive. Like, "Hey, man, you still caught the fish. It doesn't matter what a piece of paper says. That kind of stuff." So I didn't want to shout him out. Very deserving. I know he felt just stupid. We all would. But I mean, what are you going to do? It slips through the cracks.
All you younger guys like DJ and them got a lot of years left on this fishing thing. Go buy that license. Go buy that lifetime license.
We were talking about that
I wish
last
I'd have
night.
done that years ago.
It was $500 whenever it was first available, and I wish, cause I spend 150 every year now, but it's a bit, and there's something to be said for who that happens to. If that happened to somebody that has a bad reputation in fishing, he'd be getting lynched right now. But I know DJ personally. A lot of the top tier guys up and down the coast know DJ personally. DJ is a phenomenal fisherman and a good dude with a lot of integrity. So everybody's pretty well got his back on this one. It was an honest mistake, and instead of trying to hide from it, he came out and said, "Look, this is what happened. This sucks," and even apologized for taking the record out of the water that somebody else would have had a shot at.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sorry that somebody else didn't have a chance to catch it. But Scott, what was
And
the
so
story?
that even if you have a lifetime license, you still have to renew every year. You still have to go and sign up.
Yeah.
And you still have to go online and register every year. You don't have to pay for it, but you do still have to check in.
Yeah.
I just wish we could run a license like New Year's to New Year's. That'd be nice.
Yeah, the August thing is weird, and then they did the year from purchase and all that stuff. Scott, what was the story you had that you said you had the potential probable redfish state record?
Oh, that was during the time when there was a prohibition on keeping any bull reds. There wasn't a tag. There wasn't anything. You keep a fish up to 30 inches. And I caught one that without the tail pinch was 58 inches.
Oof.
And the state record at the time was, they had the weight, but they also have the length in there. And the state record at that time was like 52, 53 inches, something along those lines. And that 58 was not a long, skinny fish. It was huge. It was fat, big round. And no doubt, it would have crushed any state record that was there. Of course, couldn't keep it, put it in the boat, marked it, laid it down in the boat. We didn't have anything long enough to measure it. Pushed it up against the bulkhead. We marked the side of my boat. And then got home and put a tape measure on it. And that's a flat tail, 58 inches. So squeeze the tail on 58. I bet it would have been well past 60.
I was gonna say 61 probably.
Every bit of it.
I might have caught the state record ladyfish last weekend. I'm pretty sure it was. It was a big ass ladyfish.
I got the state record hardhead swimming underneath the boat at the marina.
Is that the albino? Is that the albino?
No, Whitey ain't gonna break a record, but he's the cutest one. But there's others that are bigger.
All right, so let's get into this topic that I think is going to be a little lively. I read it completely different from what Caleb did, and maybe Scott and Dean. I didn't talk about it, but I thought it'd be a good one to talk through. And I'm just going to read the entire question. Now, Caleb, I'll start with you. So this was a message I got. I was fishing with a young guide, and I have a question. It sure seemed like he was in a rush to get to, quote, his spot. And his spot was in quotation marks. Early in the morning to the point he blew by what I found out later were some real good fish. I saw and I smelled some real good slicks and other shore signs. He barely stopped staring at his GPS until we stopped. We zilched, except for a couple of small trout. Some friends texted me later that they hammered them fishing slicks. And here are my questions. So let's start. We'll go one at a time, and guys can jump in. But I'm gonna start. He had 3 questions based on that story. I'll start with you, Caleb. How out of line is it to suggest stopping?
It depends on how you do it. Honestly, I've been riding around with Charlie P, and Charlie suffered from COVID and couldn't smell nothing. And we drove through about 200 or 300 yards of slicks and said, "Hey, Charlie, we gonna fish these, or what are you thinking?" And he looked at me and said, "You smell a damn fish? I can't smell nothing." I was like, "Yeah, they're behind."
I picked up on that.
Yeah. And then he looped around, and we caught some pretty good ones. However, here's the thing. There's some young guys that are exceptional badasses, and there's some old guys that suck. I wouldn't lump guides into young guides and old guides. I drive past where I know there's fish pretty often because I'm getting to something. Maybe there's been real good fish there. Maybe they've been more consistent. Maybe the bite's been better. Maybe I know that we can drive past those slicks that everybody's fishing and go get something on our own, right? Where the customer just has his pick of them. It doesn't always work, but the decisions that we're having to make on the water to give you the best day possible are often made for a reason. The stigma, I think it gets under every guy's skin where my friends did this and they did really good, and why didn't we do this? There's reasonings for what we're doing. Now, if we're rolling along and you say, hey, what do you think about fishing here? Then what that does is that tells me, let's check it out. And if I think it works, right? But if it doesn't, I'm going along with your plan, and it's no longer on my back to make sure that I'm getting to where I'm trying to go. I might say, hey, I'm trying to go down here, and here's why. But if you want to fish this, we probably some fish here, and we can fish it. But I think bringing it up is cool, but it's a touchy subject. I mean, honestly,
it really is. That's why I like this question. So, Dean, the one thing that I thought of is it depends on how well you know the guide. Are you a new customer and just saying, hey, I want to go here? Or, if it's a guide that you've been going with for 10, 12 times, does that make a difference?
Man, there's a lot of decision that goes into stopping or passing over that stuff. If it's early morning and I've been on some fish and I do have a goal, it is not uncommon to run past a slick or two, and man, you catch the smell of it and it's like, whoa, that's interesting. But I have something else on my mind and I am headed to that. If it's later in the day, when I'm starting to kind of explore and look around, and then I see something like that, then I'm way more likely to pull up on it. Plus, is it a small slick that's just popping up? Is it a giant slick that's been spread out by the wind, that's been there for an hour plus? And are there multiple slicks popping up? Are they fresh? If you're going to stop. So, man, there's a lot of variables that lead into that decision. With me, I run past them a lot in the morning when I have my mind on the place that I'm headed. Later in the day, as I'm exploring, if I'm running from spot to spot, I see some slicks, way more likely to pull up on that. But early in the morning, I tend to be more patient. I'm stay more committed to the spots that I am dedicated to. Later in the day, as I'm looking around, I'm giving them 15 or 20 minutes. And then run and then go. And, in that point, you're searching, you're trying to figure something out. And that's usually, on a tougher day where you may have caught a fish here, a fish there, but you're not on any fast and furious action, or you're just not seeing the signs. And then, I start looking at that. But the subject of people making my decisions for me, it's like, it's not uncommon, man, my buddy's fished over here and that happened. I was like, well, you ain't fishing with your buddy today. You want to drive the boat? I'll sit over there for a little while and show me how it's done. There is a lot of responsibility that falls on your shoulders whenever you are guiding the boat and you're trying to lead these folks to some fish and they want to second guess you. But you just got to stick with your game plan, and then you explained, Caleb touched on that a little bit, why you're going somewhere else, why the tide and the wind is favorable for where you're headed. And, we may come back to this later and check it out. So, and the best thing is to communicate with the folks. I always try to explain my thought process to help people kind of understand why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, and 99 times out of 100, I get it all day, every day. Customers saying, there's one.
Yeah.
Look, there's a group over there. No, that wasn't one. That wasn't one. That wasn't a group over there. So sometimes whenever you're riding out, you feel like you're onto something that maybe not. I do, to kind of cut it off at the pass, I do have a habit. Here's a great case in point. Gabriel and Ryan, the ones that we're going to marry next year at the Bite Me thing.
I didn't know that was official, but go ahead.
That are coming with all of us.
They don't either.
We got in our boat, or in my boat, at daylight in Matagorda, and we drove the entirety of West Matagorda Bay to go down to try to fish some of those schools at the jetties. We got there, we found them. They were 60 foot deep and they weren't coming up. Wasn't going to happen. I drove past slicks and shit all the way down there. And one of the things I try to do to head off at the pass is I'll look at them and go, yeah, I smell it. And just
you smell that? Yes, I do.
But let's take it to another level. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I'm gonna leave out half the details because they don't matter. I'm sitting at Cathead in Baffin. We're waiting, me and a buddy of mine, Nathan. To my right, or to my north, whatever, about 150, 200 yards is Jesse Arsola with a group of customers. Jesse's an OG. He is, quote, old proven guide. You know, he's the man on these big fish.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. I think that's gonna be fun. Go ahead.
And I hear it's dead calm. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Baffin. Everybody's gone home. And I hear Jesse tell his customers, hey, they're not here. Let's move around. Jesse got in his boat and he moved around to the backside over by the meadows. And me and Nathan slid right 75 or 100 yards, just kind of split the difference. Me and Nathan weren't catching much of nothing. Jesse wasn't catching much of nothing. We kind of moved over and split the difference. We had 5 trout over 28 in the next 30 minutes.
Cool.
So, but and the reason I bring this up is because your buddies railed them on slick somewhere. They very well could have just landed right in the middle of them. You could have went there and not call it jack all. And you know that's the tough part. Every day you're guiding. Every tough day, there's always somebody that whacked them.
And that's what I was gonna say. That is, somebody's gonna get them somewhere. But another about fishing slicks. Slicks aren't guaranteed. Fishing slicks ain't easy. And fishing slicks on the flats, like across the grass beds, those fish aren't sitting in one spot, feeding, and then coming back to that spot. Something passed through there, ate something, created that slick. When you see that, they could be long gone. If it's drop-offs, it's like the edges of the channels, those 4 to 6 feet ledges, and then slicks are popping up there. I have way more confidence that I'm going to pull up on a spot like that. And those fish are going to be there and staying there to where you can approach them and catch them. But slicks on the flats are way more tougher to be dependable than the edges and deeper water slicks.
Dean, when me and you were fishing a couple weeks ago, the most beautiful, perfect smelling slicks as far as we could see, how many fish did we catch?
0. No.
Yeah. I would have been excited for a skipjack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, those aren't a guarantee. I mean, by no means are slicks X marks the spot.
Gaff top makes a hell of a slick too.
Yeah.
Oh
they
God, yes, they do. So Scott, this is where I'm going to play the other side a little bit, because I know you probably were nodding your head when Dean and Caleb were both talking. But when you're getting those questions and you say, and then you hear about it later, although I don't know if he posted anything, he just messaged me. But do you ever go to the point of not arrogance, but like, you got to have confidence in me? You know what I mean? Like, you have to have confidence in me and what I'm doing. Yes, we all see the slick. Yes, we all smell the slick. Maybe it's on him a little bit to trust his guide a little more.
Yeah, the past few weeks have been a good example of it. The birds are working like crazy on the beachfront. I mean, there are literally thousands of birds working the beachfront. I see boats running bird to bird to bird to bird all over the place. I know exactly what's under those birds. 8 to 10 inch Spanish mackerel. If you want to go up there and get your line cut, we can go over there. But I've had almost every customer that's been on my boat over the last few weeks out there chasing tarpon. Hey man, there's a bunch of birds working over there. Hey man, there's a bunch of birds working over there. And if they keep pushing it, and some do, I'll ease over there and then we sit and we watch. And I said, just keep an eye on it. And then you watch the small Spanish mackerel flying out of the water, and they're chasing these 1/4, 1/2 inch long little bitty baits. And they're just massacring stuff. we're out there every day. I can't speak for the young guy that he's talking about. I don't know who he is. No idea, who he's talking about. It may be somebody that really doesn't know exactly what they're doing. He may have gone out with a few guides, caught a few fish, and nailed a bunch of spots down from fishing with other guides. And those are the only places that he knows and he has confidence in. So that's where he's going to go. Most of the guides that came along prior to that, we were all fishing long and hard and learning. And then we went and became guides. But there's a whole lot more of the younger guides these days that are watching YouTubes and doing all that stuff. And I mean, yeah, we've got a nickname for them, Insta Guides. They catch a bunch of fish, and it's usually, if you watch, they're usually
November,
September, October,
15th,
November.
November 15th to December 31st is when guides are born.
That's when guides are born. That's the genesis of guides. And then you watch them throughout the year, and they don't post a whole hell of a lot. And then all of a sudden, social media has done a lot of this. I mean, a whole lot of it. It's made it easier to be a guide. You can put up pictures. Caleb's caught several of them along the way that using 1-year and 2-year-old, 3-year-old pictures. And when fishing slow and they're trying to drum up some business, they'll go grab some of those old pictures and make it look like it was yesterday. There's a lot more to it than people realize. And when you're hiring a guide, he has in his question there, should I just go with more experienced guides? You got to vet your guide. I mean, if you're going to spend the money, I mean, you don't just go out and buy a new truck without looking into all the different models of trucks and decide what you want. Or same thing with a boat, rods, reels, everything that you spend your money on. If you're smart about it, you're going to do a little background, a little research. Park off open boat trips and raffle trips.
Yeah, I just started. I totally agree.
You see that on Facebook, and you start seeing raffle trips and open trips. It's a lot of young guides doing that. And you can take your chances on a raffle, put your $10 in and maybe get a chance to go. But those are usually the ones that are struggling because they don't have repeat regular business and they don't have the reputation to pull business.
I like the one that says, "This weekend just became available."
Hey, all of mine say that, you jackass.
Well, that's a you problem. That's more on you.
A weekend just became available. I'm ready. Let's go catch some fish.
The next 3 days just became available. No, you just got 3 days off from your job working in the plant.
Yep.
And that's them right there. Is the post says, here's October's very busy. Here's my available dates. And it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Every once in a while in fishing, a reel comes along that changes the game. That reel is here, and if you're not using one, your friends are, and they're probably catching more fish. For sure, they're fishing with more confidence and comfort. Bates reels are the fishing industry's original CNC milled, one-piece aluminum, low-profile frame, built to last, it's built to fish. All Bates reels saltwater ready and good to go. You know I've got them on my boat. You should too. All reels, 3-year no BS warranty, and they mean that. And a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're dissatisfied, you will not be. I say it all the time. It is true. No bull, just Bates.
I'm a bit bipolar. Sometimes I have tact, sometimes I don't. And I'm not sure how this one's coming off, but it's not offensive at all for anybody to ask, hey, what about that? Why on that? Because, and here's where you can vet your guide pretty easily, as long as you've kind of got an idea what's going on too. If you ask the guide, hey, that looks good. And he can tell you, well, we're driving past that because we're going down here because this, and this is going on. And this is why I think this is where we need to go. Then you're probably with the right guy. And, others, like Scott said, they could just be very well just going to a particular point where they just sat and drifted because that's where they learned it from somebody else or whatever. And, the open boats and the raffles are an indicator of, there's some pretty good guides that are doing that, but most of the time, those kind of trips, the cheaper trips, if a guy can charge money and stay busy, then he's good to. He's probably a dude with a reputation. If he's $200-$300 cheaper than everybody else, and it was pretty easy to get on his books, well then that's just where that is too. It might be a pretty dang good fisherman trying to build his clientele, but if you're quote wanting
and
the
that's true, man.
guy,
There's a lot of variety out there.
Yeah.
And you can, I mean, if there are, I mean, and if it's not working out in one spot and your guide is going from place to place, and actually has a lot of options, to me, that would be a better sign also, not just going to one spot and hanging out there all day, and just letting it kind of play out there. But yeah, man, so many of them out there. So, and I mean, we've had this conversation before, whenever people call me and they are vetting me like hardcore, got questions. It's like, I know you had a bad trip, or, they want to know what they're getting, on this go round. They become better question askers after they've been out with
I had a pair of brothers that came from Washington State. Their mom had bought some timeshare condo in Galveston, and then they got the timeshare, and they went down there, and they wanted to go shallow water. They wanted to go sight casting redfish. And they called around. They didn't know anybody down here, and they'd called around. And this guy told me, yeah, I'll take y'all out redfishing. It was all good. They went to the jetty and soaked mullet. So when they called me, they asked me a bazillion questions, like Dean's talking about. I mean, it was a grilling. And then they came out with me. We caught fish. We did the sight casting thing in the marsh. And then I started running the Louisiana trips, and they were on my customer list. I sent that to them, and then they were regulars over there. They'd book me 3, 4, 5 days and come over there, and then they'd book me for Galveston for 3 or 4 or 5 days. So they found the right guide by asking a lot of questions.
Well, social media will tell you a lot. I think Pat Gardner is the only guy in the state that doesn't post regularly of what he's catching.
Crazy, because he catches like crazy.
Yeah, Pat has some sort of stigma. I think his Facebook's actually deactivated right now. I got all butthurt the other day because I thought he unfriended me. Like me, I'm not the best. I'm not the best at it because I hold pictures for a long time before I'll put them up. Like I say, a long time, 2 or 3 days. I don't post them right away. But I also get busy with all this other stuff we've got going on and forget to post it at all. But most of the guys, they're going to post up. There's a kid in Matagorda, and I mean, it's not really a shameless plug because I bet I've only talked to him 3 times in my life. But he looks like he's 14 years old, and sometimes he posts on social media, sometimes he don't. And he is an absolute badass. His name's Caleb Rush. I mean, we've seen some of his stuff on there. So you can't go off of young guy. I'm not really into that.
Well,
there's people that have earned their credentials, and those people aren't hard to find online. If you go outside of them, then you're taking a risk, I guess.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that leads to the second question. And he, when he sent me this message, he was hoping that we could do a quote deep dive, as you like to say. He was talking to me, and I love a good deep dive into these things. So there's another angle here. And this is the one that I think may have been a little triggering to Caleb. He said, quote, "I tried to give some business to a young guide, but felt like he was out of his element. Should I just stay with proven guides?" And you kind of answered it there, but it kind of, I could see where it resonates and sounds like a guy that I didn't catch a lot of fish, so he stinks. You know what I mean, Caleb?
And that's kind of, because I've had those guys. I've had those second guessers, and that's cool. Don't call me again. Don't hire me again. We're good. If you won't miss me, I won't miss you. And I mean, I don't know how to read the question, because that's why you don't want to text me if you're arguing me with something. It sounds like I'm going to come steal your grandma from you or something, and all I'm doing is trying to have a conversation. It's hard to figure out what they're saying in writing. But Dean and myself have both been young guides. Scott, he's been an old guide since the day he was born, but me and Dean were young one time. Everybody needs the business. Everybody needs the chance. I was very lucky in that Laguna Rods fed me people and took care of it. These young guys, there's some absolute bad. There's some guys out there that are 20 years old and they fished with their salty dad and their salty grandpa and their salty uncles. Pat Gardner is a prime example, and they're bad dudes. There's other guys that bought them a boat and use their shift work hours to pay for the boat and say, I'm a guide. Then there's a little bit of everything out there. I'm not here to disparage any of them. So, I mean, he could be spot on. I'm just saying I don't like it being put into a black and white statement. That's where I'm at with it.
So Dean and Scott, but I'll start with Dean. You know, this also spoke to why is he out there? You know, the experience for him was just about fish. It seems like, you know what I mean?
Well, when you're paying for it, yeah, hell yeah, you're out there for fish.
Well, you want to catch fish. Who doesn't? But
you're out there to ask questions. You know, you're out there for all of that. You have the right to all of that.
You know, I don't know what you want to call it. I wish all the young guys the best in the world. I know the challenges they're up against. It's a very competitive, egotistical, driven industry. It's not easy. Getting started out, building a clientele is very difficult. The ones, I mean, I hate to beat the old dead horse up again, but the guys who absolutely I have zero respect for is the ones that have all their logos, have all their crap on their boat, and then they show up with a bucket of croakers or dead bait to teach you how to fish. If we do shit, I don't know of any young guys that are out there throwing lures 100% or even trying to make it in that field. I don't know if that even exists anymore. There's probably more fly guides I see that are younger, that are the polling skiff crowd is growing at a very fast rate. But trends come and go, you know, in the fishing world over the years too. And it's hard to put that dude's one day, you know, that was his one day that we're talking about. Man, we've all been handed ass whippings that I don't care how long you've been fishing. The fish don't give a shit how long you've been fishing.
They don't know who's up on that boat.
They don't know who's on the other end of
what do you
that
say?
line.
They don't know how good I think I am.
That's it, man. Those fish don't know who I think I am out there. So it's hard to put that into the nutshell of one day of how that went. And then the clients over there, you know, that are making these recommendations or doubting their guide. You know, it just all came together on a tough day, man. Dude probably went home and it was like, man, I'm going back to the factory. I'm going back to making nuts and bolts, man. This sucks. But you have to be able to rebound from those days. I mean, you got to suck it up and get your ass back out there and prove the fish wrong. But that's a tough one, man, to explain all of those scenarios that play out into that one day.
Well, and I hope we're not coming off as like egotistical dickheads here or nothing.
It's hard to not to though.
Well, but you know,
it's just your nature.
I believe that do your research on social media, however you want to do it. And when you say, yep, this is the guy for me, like go and roll with it. And, you know, shout out to Trevor Kucha down in the valley. He's 23, 24 years old. All he throws is lures. He'll put you on snook, redfish, big trout. They're out there, right? This isn't a segment to you know, bash on young guides. They're not all great. They're not all good. But I'm a little bit sensitive to it because me and Pat were on the phone earlier, and I told Pat I was turning 44 next month, and he said, "Jesus, I felt like I just met you." You know, Pat came to my 40th birthday. He's like, "I felt like that was last year." I said, "Yeah, dude, we're slipping into the era where we're starting to be the OGs," and it made me think of whenever I was brand new in Matagorda, and I've already been fishing there a long dang time. There was this one particular guide, and I overheard him at the shop that morning. I wish all these young assholes would go home. They don't belong here. They shouldn't be guys, blah, blah, blah. Here we are 15 years later. That dude's still going and taking cut mullet at the same spot. And every time I see him, I think, you can kiss my ass. And so
when I hear somebody 40 years old telling me about being old, I want to slap your mouth, little youngster.
44.
I want to slap your mouth.
Take what offends you and add 4 years to it.
So
44 rounded down is 40.
Yeah,
40
that's
years.
right. So Scott, the other thing he mentioned, and again, this just kind of piqued my interest. I was interested about what his experience was really like, what his approach and attitude was really like, or maybe there was something to it. And I said the last one was kind of triggering, and I could see that this one you've talked about, and maybe this is something that he saw and kind of irritated him. He said, "Are young anglers too caught up in electronics and apps to really learn?" Was he just being grumpy, or could you see something there?
We don't have that kind of electronics in saltwater.
There's a lot of, well, the electronics end of things. I mean, if you're not using electronics in certain types of fishing, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
I mean, me on the beachfront, I'm watching that screen a lot out there. But now up in the bays, I don't even run a GPS on my boat. You know,
see, Scott, I think that like he is clearly, because he's talking about going to a spot. I think he's just saying he's staring at a GPS trying to get on top of that number.
I think so. Yeah, that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, and that is probably a thing, and it's a whole lot of that is social media too, because he may have seen some picture of some dude that was holding a big fish that had the background. He's like, I know where that is, and he went to it. Yeah, and he knew exactly where to go as far as following his GPS trail to get over there. Like I said, I don't even run a GPS on my pole and skiff. And I mean, I think there is some of that. I see it a lot where the guys are just staring down, looking at their GPS and running, and they're not looking around. They'll drive right past tail and redfish, drive right by,
all the
good
time.
signs. That happens a lot.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Yeah. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep driving right on by me.
The younger
driving by me, we've had this little discussion here recently a lot, but I was driving down the right-hand side of the intercoastal yesterday, and I'm driving along there just before daylight, going, heading towards Port O'Connor from where I keep my boat. And I see something up there, and it's just pink light, and I can see something running down the shoreline right towards me. And I'm looking, I was like, I can't really even see anything. And all of a sudden I can see a green light. That's the wrong side of the damn boat. So I scoot over to the side a little bit more and got up a little shallower, and I could still see the green light. And that's all I could see on that boat. I couldn't see the red light. And then I scoot over a little more and I can see the green and the red light. So now we are face to face right at each other. And it's like being on a highway and having somebody in your lane coming right at you with the headlights. You ain't got nowhere to go to the right. It's a deep ditch over there. Mine was the spoil banks and no water. And so you don't really want to go cutting across the other way, because at the last second they may realize they're in the wrong lane and cut over too.
You got to kind of glide one way and hope they catch the hint,
Yeah, so that's what I ended up doing, was gliding over to that side. And then right behind them was a boat running the same place with no lights.
That's when you hit them with the light bar.
That's when you say, "Get a light, dumbass."
I told and then there was a third one that was running with no lights as well. But that was all between, a 10-minute run down the intercoastal. I had 2 boats with no lights, and 2 of them running on the wrong side of the damn intercoastal. And I got there, I talked to my cousin. I said, started off kind of rough today, boys. I've already said effing moron 3 times this morning, but I did well. I only said it out loud to that first one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he could hear me, because
you're evolving.
We're pretty damn close together. But anyway, yes, people, and I looked, the reason that came to my mind, I looked over at him as he was running, and I made my statement. He was staring at his GPS.
That happens all the time.
Looking straight down at his GPS. He never saw me.
Yeah.
He had no idea I was there.
He may have been looking at his phone, posting on his Facebook too.
The
younger generation is attached to the apps. They are attached to the social media world that relates to fishing. It's just the world they grew up in. It's not a disrespect to them. It's just the world they know. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
is where they gather information. It's where they share information. It is where they live. So it's never going to change. I mean, that's just the world they were born in. I mean, kids nowadays, they come out of the womb with an iPad in their hand and they never know otherwise. But yeah, so, I mean, the ones we were talking about last week, you know, with the guys that ran me over, they were going to that one particular spot. They didn't care who was in front of them or who was in their way. They were aiming for that spot. And in the meanwhile, you know, they ran over 2 miles of very productive water to get to that spot.
Let's talk about taking your game to another level. Let's talk about Sawgrass Rods. If you haven't heard, they're taking over the inshore, offshore, and fly rod game. Sawgrass Rods, Colin Zillich, the whole gang over there are going to make sure that you've got the right rod. We throw Sawgrass rods, and Sawgrass is the next level of rod. I'm telling you, when you order a Sawgrass rod, if you don't like what you ordered, return it. They'll pay for the shipping. That's the way it is, and that's the way you can trust Sawgrass Rods, sawgrassrods.com.
It's just a lot going on out there, man. It ain't what it used to be. Choose a category to pick apart.
Well, I mean, here's another couple of scenarios. Oh, dude has been on some good fish in the spot he's trying to get to, and if he stops and fishes these, he's pretty sure those other 2 boats that know about him are going to beat him to them.
Yeah.
And everybody on these family bunch of Brady's, whatever the hell the name of that show is, all the squares. Every one of us has been in this situation where we're talking to some, you know, I was at the ramp talking to Dean. I said, you know, them slicking some guns out there on Ransom Flats, I ain't been able to get the bastards to eat in 3 days. And Dean says, hey, go over here to this corner. They've been eating good there for me. So that dude might have drove past stuff that he'd been trying to get fish to eat on, and it hadn't worked out. And now he is trying to get to a specific spot because he's been struggling, and somebody in his network is trying to throw him a bone.
Yeah.
And could have been similar to me with my little Spanish mackerel. He could have fished those slicks the last 2 or 3 days, and they were all gaff tops.
Yeah, 100%. And we're getting towards the end of it, so we've spent probably 30 minutes on this. So I'll tell you how to truly answer this question. Send us the name of who it was, and we'll tell you if he sucks or not.
But there you go. There you go. Meanwhile, Caleb's calling himself old and calls the Brady Bunch Family Brady.
Brady family.
You're officially still young.
I'm still trying to figure out whose grandma he was trying to get with a few minutes ago.
He's into cougars. I don't know. I mean, those are the kind of things that you hear here from Family Brady. Yeah, good job there, Caleb. Meanwhile, Dean is double booking fools at the same time within proximity of each other.
On the other end of the spectrum, you can book a trip with a guy and he ain't even there when you show up.
Yeah, that's right.
It's better. Well, neither one of those are good, whether if you're not there or if 2 groups are standing there.
But you double booked.
Well, okay. Well, I got lucky. This is the way that one played out. And we were so busy talking feed and frenzy stuff last week. How I overlooked this one and forgot. I probably tried to block it out of my mind. I didn't want to talk about it. But so at the feeding frenzy, totally unrelated to each other, 2 guys were at the Anglers Anonymous booth, and one of them was standing there holding a baits reel, and he was looking at it and spinning it. It was cool. And then Gabriel was the one that was there, just randomly occupying the same space. And he heard the other guy, he's like, I'm going to buy this. I'm going fishing with Dean on Monday. And Gabriel heard that, and I had Gabriel booked for Monday. And Gabriel was like, he just thought this dude was bullshitting, you know, talking crazy. And he didn't even talk to him at that point. He just heard that conversation. Then he comes to me and he's like, man, I heard a guy over there saying that he had you booked for Monday. And I'm like, no way, dude. I said, I've had you on the books for weeks. And he goes, I remember exactly what he looked like. He said, I know the shirt he was wearing. And I was like, don't worry about it, man. I said, it ain't no big deal. I said, we are good to go for Monday. So later in the day, he goes over there, he finds the dude, talks to him, and here they come to me. They both are, I can't think of his name right now, but I got it here. He's got his phone in his hand, and he has the complete text conversation that I had with him where I confirmed that Monday after the frenzy. And the whole deal was I was not going to fish on Friday after the frenzy because it was going to be a long week. We're going to be up late. I'm like, I'm taking the day off. Ain't going to do it. So fortunately, I had Sunday available for these people that were both booked on the same day. And so, yes, comes to standing there in the middle of this thing, and I'm trying to decipher what the hell I did wrong, how I put all that together. And I'm still in a bit of a state of confusion of like, man, no, I couldn't have done this. But then they presented the evidence to me, and I was like, okay, here we are. And then, of course, my mind starts spinning into, well, who wants to go fishing tomorrow? I just happen to have that available. And we shifted everything around. Everybody got to go fishing. But, yep, that was one of those.
Yeah, but which day was better? Because they're listening.
If I remember right, they were both. Oh, no, Sunday right after was tough with Gabriel and Ryan. And
Gabriel.
And he had his brother, and the son was with those guys. But that was coming off of, Sundays after Saturdays are run over and beat up so much. Sunday always has a question mark on it. I mean, some days you can beat those.
Maybe he would have got his trip on Monday. It'd have been better.
And Monday, I mean, I don't actually recall what the production was. I remember Sunday was tough because it was right after that busy Saturday.
Man, I was a vegetable on Sunday. There's no way.
2 points here. One, Dean was so excited all week that he had Sunday off.
I was.
Number two, I don't know how it's possible for somebody to walk up to me and say, "Hey, I just talked to somebody that has me the same day as you," or what?
Booked the same day?
Yeah. And you go, "Nah, don't worry about it." And you're still on about your business. I don't know how that's possible. My world would have melted down before that sentence was over.
Well, I was 100% confident that I was correct, man.
I
was 100% wrong.
Why do you think this? Like,
but what are the chances of those dudes
standing next to each other
and randomly say at that fortunate time for me that they did have that conversation? Because Monday morning would have been way more awkward than Saturday afternoon.
Dean been living right, and the good Lord said, "All right, stupid, let me help you."
That is exactly what I said too. I said, somebody is looking out for me.
Dean comes up to me and he goes, "You're not gonna believe what just happened." and both of them come up to me too, like, "Yeah, we both booked them on Monday." The other thing is, I guess you could have, although this gets awkward. I don't know how much you guys have ever done this. One morning, one afternoon, something like that.
That would have been a worst case scenario. Well, afternoons in the winter, of course.
Yeah.
Then those are good. Those are doable. Afternoons and 100 degrees, it's just tough, man.
Yeah. Well, and the morning guy's invariably going to get more time on the water. Now, a lot of my evening trips, I'm like, "Hey, look, we can do the evening. It's going to be much shorter because, as Dean said, it's hot. So we're going to have a couple hours in the evening. The reason I want to do the evening is everything's right for it. But if you've got somebody that's watching their clock, it's tough to run those. I don't know how people run those double day ones.
I couldn't do it.
So when Gabriel, I fished with them the Sunday after the frenzy, it was a tough day. Didn't catch a lot of fish. I had fished with them like 2 weeks prior to that. And that was whenever I was telling you about the afternoon when that tide was going low and we were just destroying those reds on that low tide in 90-degree water. And so I did fish with those guys on an afternoon and prove all of those theories absolutely wrong.
Scott, do you ever have to double book like that? See, Scott, of the three of you, Caleb would be the favorite by far to have this be double booked on a day. I think, I don't know. I think Dean would probably be second. Just whatever, he's busy. He does a lot of stuff. Scott,
I used to do it more. I mean, that's not the first time that ever happened. That's not the fourth time that ever happened to me.
It might be the fifth.
I think I'm I'm pretty sure I'm on like year 23 or so. Give or take.
Scott, don't do that.
I've done it once.
You've done it once?
And, yeah, and it was a weird deal. The guy had booked me. He had fished with me, and then he booked the trip that day while he was fishing with me. He booked a trip for like 9 months out.
Oh no.
And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'll get, we'll talk some more and we'll get it on the schedule. We didn't talk more and it didn't get on the schedule, and I booked it again. And then like 2 or 3 weeks before the trip, he's calling me up. Hey man, looking forward to our fishing trip. I'm like, what fishing trip? Yeah, we worked it out, and he was going to be here for 2 or 3 days in Port O'Connor, coming down and hanging out. So we just moved his day over one. So that it wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, that was a bad pit of the stomach kind of feeling when he called and gave me the date, and I was like, oh. Looking at my calendar.
The reason
I'm searching my calendar with his name. I mean, I put it in the search bar, and I'm like, okay, I know I got you in here somewhere. Surely I got you in here.
So I have a question for you guys. Do y'all use your digital calendar on your phone, or do you still use a paper calendar?
All I use is digital. Everything. For
I use the one on my phone because I also run a Mac, and it transfers everything over to the Mac. And then my Mac gives me reminders every time I open it up. Hey, dumbass, you got a fishing trip coming tomorrow.
Hey, speaking of which,
I still got one of these.
You got the planner? I used to use those planners like crazy.
And so the reason that got nutted up is because we'll have these text conversations or messenger conversations or wherever it comes from. And if I'm not at my calendar, I rely on this paper calendar 99.9%.
But you have a phone in your hand.
See that because Dean, check this out. Tiny Calendar syncs across all your devices, and it sends you like notifications and reminders like, hey dude, you got a trip.
Yeah, look at all the crap I got this month. I got way too much shit to do. But it all goes.
I'm gonna have to adapt, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, learn this though, because this is what's crazy to me. My record is now better than yours. I did dump a phone and lose like 4 months worth of bookings, and I was booked almost every day because I didn't have it backed up to my Gmail, calendar. Yeah. Back the damn thing up.
Hey, one other thing. Speaking of trips. Are we going to go on a fishing trip, us four? That was the text thread this week. I think Dean started it. Hey, we should go.
Yeah.
Where'd you say?
Well, I mean, I was just tossing ideas out there.
I could put it on our calendar, Caleb.
I would love to go. Yeah, I'm going to put it on my phone and my paper calendar. I mean, I would love to go to Louisiana with Caleb. I mean, that would be amazing to do that. Also would enjoy a trip to Florida and go over there, whether it's down in Chokoloskee, the Everglades area, or up in the middle with the old Mark Nichols, and put something like that together. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm just kind of ready for a field trip and was just spitballing those ideas.
Scott, where should we go? Listeners, weigh in. If you're listening on the podcast, if you're listening live, weigh in. Because I thought, you know what? We've hung out a lot together. I fished with all of you. I fished with a couple of you on separate boats. I fished with everybody on separate boats. But we've never gone like on a fishing trip. I'm thinking Florida. I'd love to go down there with Mark, but I am open, man. And we need to get this on the calendar.
And so what are the logistics of putting together Louisiana, Delacroix area?
I've got a house that sleeps the bunch that Tim owns about 10 minutes from Sweetwater Marina. We just call in, book a date, and y'all drive and pick me up at the airport in New Orleans.
Where, Scott, you've been all over too. Where are we going? When are we going?
The Louisiana Marsh is great. Yeah, a lot of fun. No doubt about it. Going over with, fishing some of those areas that Kayla's been fishing in the tournaments and stuff, that'd be fun. Something I'd like to do, we've talked about it a bunch, is getting with Captain Troy and booking up the chandelier boat sleeps 12, and being able to invite some listeners along and have that as a possibility.
We could have like
later
12
on.
or so, right?
Yeah, it sleeps 12,
Mm-hmm.
and we could make that work as well. But that's for a different thing. Just the four of us. The problem with doing something big like the Florida trip that's going to be to go over there and fish, we need a week.
Mm-hmm.
How are all four of us going to have a week at the same damn time? Unless
we plan it.
We plan it like
put it
2
on your
years out.
calendar.
Hey man,
Yeah.
I can make mine happen.
I'm good
Yeah.
next week. Who's going?
That's
Now,
a little.
hey, we get on an airplane at Hobby, fly into West Palm Beach, either get an Uber XL or have Andrew come pick us up. It's a 35-minute drive to Stewart. Mark has an incredible couch, an incredible recliner, and a bed. But
I don't got the couch. I got the couch.
Wildlife like you wouldn't believe in the backyard. Shoot, we're in it, boys. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, Mark would enjoy it. He'd love it.
Mm-hmm. So there is a little, before we get out of here, there's a little bit of a, I'm always thinking, okay, how do we turn this into a topic for our listeners? And that's what I was thinking about. As much as we talk about learning, we have a lot on this podcast. Learn your bay piece by piece, figure out your bay, master it, so to speak. How important is it, or how cool is it, or how good is it to expand your horizons and try other bays? Like to go every once in a while, twice a year, whatever.
Not to derail this, but real quick, I'd like to ask Scott. Scott, how do you think John's world would act when John's all squared away and got everything where it goes in his boat, and then he fishes with Mark Nichols?
I'm a stickler for detail.
I am pretty damn easygoing. I'm just nice and easygoing. Getting on Mark's boat gives me anxiety.
I watched that man. This was the day after we stopped for the manatee zone while lightning was trying to kill us. We're riding along, and he's got this gnarly ass hook amongst a pile of other hooks and plastics, and they've all rattled to the back of his boat, right where he sits, where his bare feet are. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, that big old hook's about to stick him. And he like feels it poking him, and he looks down and he kicks it to get it out of the way. I was like, this is good.
You guys know I have everything in its place.
Dude,
and when I use it, I put it back.
He and I are walking out of the house. We walked by his workbench that Caleb has seen now in his garage. And that's where he picked up his tackle for the day, in like a mayonnaise jar. And he's got this jar, and he just walked along there on his bench. He just started plucking things and throwing them in the jar. And that was our tackle box for the day. And then every now and then, you need something. He'd just dump the whole damn thing out on the bottom of the boat and start sorting through it. And he'd find what size jig head were you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I'm pretty sure that's a 16. Nah, that could be an 8.
An absolute legend of the game, that every device, every piece of fishing equipment you could ever think of, from electronics to a box to put your lures in, is available to that man in a phone call away. When I fished with him, it wasn't a mayonnaise jar. It was like a beer flat, like you put the little cardboard flat.
Yeah.
And he just filled that thing up, and we went fishing. We got caught in a downpour, and he goes to take out of the boat, and it just pulls in half, and he goes, "Well, shit, that ain't gonna work anymore, huh? Let's go in the house." All right.
Guess we're done. I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind on that. I would bring like extra boxes and start putting them in the box and clip them down.
How about this? We're trolling up to a dock, and there's this big boat, and we've just caught a couple of big snook under from the day before, and I couldn't be more excited. And we troll up to it, and the current over there is crazy. Mm-hmm. We troll up to it, and I get about one cast under it, and Mark starts petering around with this box of lures, and we just turn and drive off into the channel because he hasn't looked up in 4 minutes. And I'm trying to be polite because I'm the young guy here, right? And I'm like, I'm not going to say nothing. And finally I go, "Hey, Mark, I can't really reach it anymore." And he looks up and goes, "Oh, yeah, we were done fishing there anyway, weren't we?"
Well, that's how you become a legend, I guess. I don't know.
He is a legend. Everybody there, as I felt like I was with George Strait. Everybody that we walk past or drove past, I see them look at each other on their boat, and they go, "That's Mark Nichols."
Yeah.
Like the dude is top tier celebrity over there.
Yeah.
I'm in there looking for a certain lure, and he goes, "Damn! If only we knew somebody who owned a lure company."
Meanwhile, he's got a brand new warehouse he just built, or opening here pretty soon, or something.
I'm pretty sure he ain't allowed in it.
Probably. Well, Scott, didn't he just send you a trailer of stuff and said, "Fix this"?
Yeah.
Like how many lures were in there?
Oh God. It was a little 14-foot box trailer, and it was absolutely just stacked with boxes of lures. No rhyme or reason to it, no nothing, just bags and bags and bags and bags of lures. I spent like 3 days just sorting lures and getting it squared away so I could go do a show for him.
If you're listening to this podcast, then I know you're passionate about the outdoors, and you also live for those moments, not just fishing, sharing stories and laughs around that pit or grill. Texas Star Grill Shop is a proud sponsor of the Bite Me YouTube channel. Before you set off for your next outdoor adventure, don't forget to stop by Texas Star Grill Shop to pick up your bottle of OG sauce as well. Texas Star Grill Shop. The next time you catch those big fish, celebrate it around that grill. From Texas Star Grill Shop, proud sponsor of this Bite Me YouTube channel and the Bite Meat podcast. Subscribe today. Okay, well, screw the question. We'll get to it next week. I really wanted to get to this. Look, this is what they call a tease in the business. So me being the sicko that I am, I went and found out a bunch of history about all the bays in Texas. All right. Sabine, Galveston, Port O'Connor, obviously Matagorda, obviously Aransas. And I'm going to ask you guys some trivia questions. Or historical questions about the bays that are in Texas. Well, that, like I said, that's a tease for next week because it's going to be pretty fun. Some things I didn't know, some things I did, but a lot of things I didn't know. So we're going to do that next week. We'll talk about learning bays, and expanding your horizons and all that. But we had a good discussion, definite deep dive into all that. What would Scott do? What would Caleb do? What would Dean do? It's October, boys. Dean, anything changing?
Hell yeah. My attitude. I'm gonna have to start changing my I'm gonna have to wear a hoodie. I'm gonna have to bundle up. It's gonna get cold.
No, the morning's been cool.
Yeah, it's been nice, man. But yes, finally October, you can start, really focusing on the mullet migration that's gonna take place. It's the time of year we wait for. It's the reason you survive summer to get to this. Starting tomorrow, I got a good run. I was just looking at the forecast. We got like some big north wind on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Hopefully it's not as windy as the forecast says, but tide is up really good. Right now, it's the week before the full moon. I don't want to get too presumptuous, but it is the scenario that I wait for.
All right, what's the migration feeling like for you guys in your respective bays, Caleb?
Not I don't think we're anywhere near close to a migration yet, but the mornings have been cooler. Wade fishing has been good early. This weekend, I think it was like 15 to 20 out of the east, which isn't the best for Matagorda, but the wading's been good. The drifting should follow. The beachfront's going to look good in the middle of the week. Hopefully it's supposed to. I think I'm going to go check that out a little bit, maybe play in the river a little bit. The JH Owners tournament's this weekend, so I'm going to come up with an excuse to go get content for my Insta guide service.
Yeah. So wind kicking up. It's good early. I'm looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Scott. Like decently, nice light winds, although it is east northeast, but then it kicks up pretty quickly. I guess that's just a product of where we are calendar wise as well.
Yeah, the fronts seem like they're about a week apart right now. 8-9 days apart. Just so happens they're hitting on weekends right now. That'll change as we go, but yeah, I'm showing 21 gusts into 27 overnight, Friday night into Saturday morning.
It's scary. All of us have a different forecast.
That's kind of a no-go for me on the beach.
Mine says 8 to 10 Saturday morning, but then it kicks up, so maybe it's just coming down.
Yeah, well,
I got 11 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you going to be here?
My beachfront is showing 3.8 feet.
Yikes.
At 5 to 6 seconds. Varying throughout the day. Building to 3.9 feet.
And I got 40% chance of rain all weekend.
I ain't going tarpon fishing, I can tell you that. But tomorrow, Tomorrow is less than 5 all damn day. I got 0.9 feet at 5 and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And all that
Tomorrow
good
and
stuff.
Thursday.
And I got somebody that wants to go. I can't talk them into tarpon. They want to go pole for redfish. I'm like,
Talk them into tarpon, man.
I tried.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the
polling
redfish
for
thing.
reds. I mean, that's not a bad scenario for that.
I mean, I've been on reds. The days that I've gone polling when it's been too windy to get out there on the beachfront, I've been polling for reds, and we've been smacking the hell out of them.
Yeah,
and you can tell John Lopez is coming to town this weekend because
the wind's kicking up.
It's been amazing since the day you left, and then here you go when you show up.
Yeah,
Scott's going to be making a post talking about how this customer made him go do red fishing, and all of his friends caught tarpon.
That's right. Them young guides. It's them. Young guys.
They're going to be out there on them.
Yeah. All right, boys. Book them. Book my guys here, Dean, Caleb, and Scott. You know where to reach them. If you don't, contact me. I'll get you all hooked up with that. And I'm going no matter what. So you know how that is. I'm gonna go. I'll be there. It's gonna be fun. Finally, relax and just enjoy the house, enjoy the water, all that good stuff. You guys got anything? Oh, shout out. How'd your girl do on the police exam, Scott?
I haven't checked in with them, but I screwed that up. We both screwed that up last week when we were supposed to give a shout out to a young lady who is trying to follow in my footsteps, Reagan Scow. She had her police academy test going, and I talked to her mom and dad at the feeding frenzy, and I was supposed to give her a shout out and give her a big boost to go take her test. And so she got to go take her test without the big boost. Hopefully she did really well.
Yeah. And so hopefully she did, and she'll be following your footsteps. I got a message from Gary. It's either Viatrek or Wiatrek. And he wanted to shout out what they're doing over at Cross Trail Outfitters. They're building up youth preserves the heritage and share their faith. And it's all through fishing and outdoors. And so if you're interested in that and you want to be involved, contact Gary. It's Cross Trail Outfitters. It's hunting and fishing and all that stuff. And I told him I'd give him a shout out because it sounds like it's a good thing that he's doing.
And I got to shout out to Chef Gonzo over at Gabriella's. We went over there earlier this week, and as always,
man, it's stupid good.
The dude is
stupid good.
Amazing.
That's where we're gonna meet. Go ahead.
Another shout out.
Okay.
Thank you to Dean's partner in the shootout,
Bill Borman.
I finally got some. I couldn't get them from Dean. I couldn't ever get no shootouts from Dean.
Neither one of them
comes over. He says, "How you like them?" I said, "I ain't got one yet." And then he goes over and he grabbed 3 of them and brought them over to me.
Look at that. And you wonder why you double book trips.
So y'all want to hear? You want to hear another funny story? So on the frenzy, whenever you guys were here at the house, I've been sitting on these 2 custom rods that were built for y'all for like a year and a half ago, and we haven't crossed paths. And then y'all were here, and then like the next day, I walked in my room and I was like, "Son of a gun!" They're sitting, tripping over them for a year and a half, and I could have got them out of my damn room. And here we are.
But what reminded me of the shootouts, I was going to tell John, you're the sicko. You want to go fishing on Saturday. You got to go fishing. Go to the far east end of wherever you're going to fish. Throw you 4 shootouts, maybe, and just drift. Drift west.
Hey, don't be surprised if you see me out there with them.
Hey, it's a technique.
It is. It works. All right, boys. A little long, never a problem. We like to do it. You guys like to listen, and we appreciate all that. Don't forget to subscribe, of course, wherever you get your podcast. Really appreciate you guys. Man, I got 4 topics already lined up for next week. How good is that? Just because we didn't get to them all today. So we will talk to you next Tuesday and post by next Tuesday at 6 p.m. You guys have a great weekend. I'm going to catch some fish. I guarantee you. We'll figure it out. Have a great week. Great weekend. Catch them up. We'll talk to you next time.
Man, we were asking where to go. I hope that dude that asked that question don't think we can go to hell.